Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank all of you. I'm going to switch topics to something that's really devastating to my state. It's the opioids, prescription of these opiates, painkillers.
Yes, sir.
And I'm sure you all are very much aware of it. And we're being devastated in my state. It's the #1 killer we have. Mortality rate is because of prescription drug abuse. I'm finding the VA does not always have or offer good alternatives. For example, just in my Beckley VA Medical Center, there are 0 alternatives, treatments available, and at Clarksburg we only have 1. And so my question would be, how do you all plan on using funds provided under the Choice Act to establish alternative treatment methods at facilities that lack these programs?
Dr. McCarthy?
Sure, I'll be happy to start. I used to be Chief of Staff at the Salem, Virginia VA Medical Center, and we treated many veterans from Beckley, and we had a pain program in which some of the veterans from Beckley actually came and received some non-pharmacologic interventions for their pain. They may not be provided right at Beckley, but there was access to those veterans, for instance, at Salem.
Yeah.
Not perfect, I know.
Well, let me ask, you know, for areas where we don't have the
Right.
proper treatment, with the Choice Act, are you all allowing them to find out different providers, private providers that might be able to provide the services they need so we can get them the services that are needed that would help them versus trying to find something within the VA system that's not even practical for them to go to?
So let's just talk about providers in general, if we could, for a minute. We could talk about chiropractors. We could talk about pain specialists. We could talk about acupuncture. Okay. Under the Choice program, indeed, chiropractors are included, and pain specialists are included in terms of those that people are referred to. I'm not aware of the integrative, complementary, and alternative medicine specialties like, for instance, acupuncture. I would have to take that one for the record and get back to you.
And Senator, I would just add that the VA has established over the last 12 to 18 months a very aggressive opioid safety initiative program, which is looking at our use of opioids. Part of that program, as we're looking at the use of opioids and the prescriptions for opioids across the system, is also looking at how we can incorporate complementary and alternative therapies into more VA medical centers, realizing this is going to be a critical part of treating the veterans with chronic pain.
Well, you know, and let me just tell you what's hard. In my little state of West Virginia, from 2007 to 2012, over 200 million pills of opiates have been shipped to my state. 200 million. And not, I mean, our veterans are being affected by this. We have double the mortality rate as far as an opiates overdoses in military VA than the national average. So we know we have a problem with the VA. And we've got basically people who aren't trained at dispensing or taking time to educate a veteran who's needing this, PTSD or whatever it may be, that are getting a concoction or taking things that are just lethal. You all know I mean, you know how.
Yeah, we could talk to you a little bit about the opiate safety initiative that we have going on.
How are you tracking your doctors who are overprescribing?
We have tracking of prescriptions. We're tracking all of the opiates in terms of the morphine equivalent doses. We're actually expecting trends downward. We're tracking people that are on opiates as well as benzodiazepines, which is not a great
Are we
combination.
trying any alternatives? And the reason I'm saying that, if we as a nation, you know, 5% of the population of the world, the United States of America is what we have, we use 80% of the opiates that are produced in the world. 5% of the population consuming 80% of painkillers. Something's wrong.
Yes.
Now, you tell me that's not a big money scheme from pharma that's basically putting out pills that we don't need and putting out more of them than we ever could consume or should consume. Something's wrong there. So I'm saying we've got to go to alternative pain methods. Are you all trying anything different?
Go ahead, Tom.
I think we are. I mean, I would need to get back to you with the specifics, but as part of our opioid safety initiative, we are beginning to engage complementary and alternative therapies as part of the program. We do, in fact, give veterans informed consent before we provide opioids at this point. We give them a discussion of what the risks and what the benefits of the treatment are. and we're making active efforts to get people off of high doses of opioids and onto alternative medications and therapies.
I'm just saying, if we, as the sense of the Senate, sense of Congress, basically said, we believe that our Medicare, Medicaid, and VA, which is the largest, probably largest group of medical providers in the world, if we could do that, which we have influence over, could basically change the direction of how we treat chronic pain, or pain relief, if you will, and not just going to the opiates immediately, but going to alternative uses. Would it be something acceptable in the veterans?
Oh, I think it's a multifactorial approach. I think we need to not start people as much on them, and we need to be very careful about the use of them and the mixing of them. Could I just add one other statement?
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, but
we're dispensing now opiate safety kits that are the naloxone kits that reverse overdoses. And I know that a lot of people are carrying them like the first responders, police and fire, but I did want you to know that we're actually dispensing them to veterans. And we've had over 55 people's lives saved by the veterans or their loved ones using the kits.
How many times you dispense it to the same user?
You know, I don't have the numbers on that.
You can get numbers for me. I would like to know, because there's another problem coming with that.
Okay.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Life support.
Right. I haven't heard, but I wouldn't be able to definitively say anything about the number of repeats. What I will say is we have veterans that are reaching out to their communities and saving those that aren't veterans.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, I've used up my time, but this is such an important.
Yes, I would agree.
Such an important topic.
Thank you.
Thank you.